Rodgers leaves Green Bay this offseason, could the Tennessee Titans be a likely landing spot for him? It's on the board. Another day, another chapter in the Ben Simmons saga. What has him now beefing with Shaquille O'Neal? You fighting with the big guy now? And Mac Jones' Pro Bowl skills competition, definitely, let's call it an adventure. Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. I'm not going to let you sit on this too long. Oh, we are going to sit on this too long. Let it just sink in for Nick. Jen Wolf, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard. He's all smiles. Kevin Wilds.
Oh, no.
Oh, you want to put a grade on Mac's performance, Nick? Or we're going to wait and hold off for that?
Can we just run this on a loop throughout the show?
No.
It's
because he was wearing a sweatshirt, probably, right? Wow.
I'm going to put this in context.
So good. This is so good. Just keep playing it.
Unbelievable.
First football I've enjoyed in 5 days, Jenna. Thank you, Mac.
Lakers-Clippers is where we start. No LeBron in this one. Final 15 seconds. Russ finds AD for the alley-oop. Lakers take a 1-point lead. Under 10 seconds left now. Can they get a stop? Are Nick and I going to work out together one day? There's your answer. Reggie Jackson splitting Austin Reeves and Russ lays it in. Clippers retake the lead. One final chance. AD, Anthony Davis, brings it up the floor, gets a great look. That ball touches every part of the rim. No net. AD would later say he watched that play 7 times before going out and speaking with reporters. Lakers have now dropped 4 of their last 5 overall, and 5 straight, by the way, to the Clippers. Sorry, Anthony Davis, even though you've been playing well lately. Nick, how discouraged should Lakers fans be?
Oh, I don't think they should be discouraged. The very first Lakers game of the season, we came on the air the next day, and I said there's a lot about this team that really concerns me. Didn't like the rotations it looked like Vogel was going to use, was obviously, as we all were, unsure about Russ's fit. And AD, the first, really up until his injury, didn't look anything like the AD that helped the Lakers win a championship a couple years ago. The reason I feel better today than I did then, and the reason I don't think Lakers fans should be discouraged, is because they have 3 objectives from now until the end of the year. The first objective, Broussard, is get to the 8 seed or better. Why does that matter? Because if you're the 7 or the 8 and you win the first play-in game, you will avoid Phoenix. I think avoiding Phoenix early in the playoffs is critical. I think the Lakers' chances of upsetting Golden State, a fully healthy Lakers team, are actually quite high, as opposed to the Suns that have a 9-man roster that might be the best in basketball. So that's goal 1. Goal 2 is figure out your 8-man rotation. You know who the top 5 are: LeBron, AD, Russ, Monk, and Melo. Melo got dinged yesterday, so we'll see how long he's going to be out. And then figure out the back end of that. I think they are in the process of it. But the final one, and the most important one, is this. Get Anthony Davis back to being Anthony bleeping Davis. Get Anthony Davis back to a place where if he showed up on my pyramid outside of the top 4 rows, outside of the top 10, that it would be an insult, that it would be an outrage. Get Anthony Davis playing to a level that when they announced the All-Stars yesterday and he's left out, it's like, well, that's ludicrous. Don't care how many games he's missed. He's one of the best players in basketball. And Anthony Davis, since his return, if we throw out the very first game where he played limited minutes, he's given you 30 and 12 with great defense.
Right.
That is what the Lakers have to have. The Lakers' path through is very simple. You look at the Western Conference. Do they have the best player? I think they do in LeBron. Could they have, in the whole conference, also the 4th best player? Maybe. You have Steph, you have Ja, you have Luka, you have Jokic, you have AD, all fighting for that spots behind LeBron. Anthony Davis has to play at this level. And if he does, then the Lakers will be a team no one wants to see. Now, loss to the Clippers is damaging because they're the team they're chasing for that 8th spot, and there's obviously a lot of work to be done. But I feel better about the Lakers today than had they won and AD went 18-9 in a pedestrian effort. He seems to be fully engaged on both ends post-injury in a way we haven't seen since the bubble.
No, that's fair. Because let's face it, the bar has been lowered. All right. What you just said it, Nick. What's one of the goals? Finish 7th or higher. That's where the bar is now. It's no longer get home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs, challenge Phoenix and Golden State for the best record in the conference. None of that. And even the Lakers understand that now. I have said all season long, puncher's chance. That's their mantra as far as I'm concerned. And I think they're accepting that. Russell Westbrook said a couple days ago, you know what? We just got to get to the playoffs with the right energy and playing the right way. And then everybody's 0-0. Because he understands the regular season is lost. Let's just get to the playoffs in a good mentality and see if we can have a puncher's chance and knock these teams out. That's what it's come to. And that puncher's chance, as you pointed out, Nick, depends on two guys, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis is, as you said, starting to look like the AD in the bubble that helped them win the championship. And early on in that final series with Miami was the front runner for the finals MVP. And then he kind of faded and LeBron rose, and LeBron got it rightfully so. But that's the AD that they need. And you pointed out the numbers. What I like about AD is the way he's playing. Now, he's been scoring paint points all season, but last night, 9 of his 12 shots or that he made were dunks. All right, even the last shot, I love the fact that he took it into the paint and missed the runner from about 9 or 10 feet, but it was a close shot. LeBron and Westbrook settle too much for three-pointers, even AD sometimes. Three-pointers at the end of the game when you're trying to tie or win. I like him attacking the basket because, as you said, Nick, the advantage they have over a Golden State, even maybe a Phoenix, maybe, is size. And AD, he's only taken 6 3-pointers in his last 4 games. Love it, because you can't hit threes with regularity. So go inside and dominate. Here's the last thing I'll say, Wilds. If LeBron comes back and is playing as well as he was before the injury, and AD continues to play at this level, and the Lakers are still losing, that's when, to me, it's legitimate to look at Frank Vogel and say, okay, LeBron looks great, AD is back, and we're still losing. Now you can question whether or not he should be your coach and say maybe they need a new voice, and that's when you should look at it seriously. I think the stuff before was using Vogel as a scapegoat, but now it would be legitimate if they still can't win with LeBron and AD playing at a high level.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a role reversal on this show, Jenna, because usually I'm the optimistic one looking at the world through rose-tinted glasses like I will when I try to sort of maneuver that Mac Jones highlight that we saw earlier in the show. But now Broussard and Nick are like, you know what? I think Anthony Davis played well. Who cares that the Lakers have lost 4 of their last 5 games, and they just lost to the Clippers, who are missing Kawhi and Paul George. And the last play of the game was a total and abject disaster and a sign of why the Lakers continue to struggle and won't do anything in the playoffs. Currently, Broussard, the Lakers are 17th in defensive rating, which I know is sort of a macro stat, but it all comes down to individual plays. Can we run the last play of the game here? Reggie Jackson's got the ball, and he does a little skip to my Lou. He is so happy that he gets to go against the Lakers defense. Russ gets screened. He's like, okay, Austin Reeves, you take care of it. That's not winning basketball, Broussard. And I actually think that your philosophy of, like, let's get to the playoffs and the Lakers will have a puncher's chance, I think that infects the regular season. I don't think that the Lakers felt like they needed this game. Do you think this is playoff basketball intensity from Russ? That, like, we need this one? It's like, nah, let's just go through the motions. Yeah, go for it.
Let me answer that. They were down 17 points, or 16 points with a minute left in the third. The idea, motions, as opposed to this was an unbelievable fourth quarter by them and then a great back and forth final 3 minutes where it looked like there were 3 different shots by both teams that could have been the game winner. I do not agree at all that they were a team that's like, win or lose. This was one of the best, to me, most entertaining NBA games of the season. Now, Russ's defensive, not philosophy is the wrong word, fundamentals, that's the word, are poor as they've always been. Of course he shouldn't take that angle. Of course, if you're going to funnel him anywhere, it should be funneling him towards Anthony Davis, not towards Austin Reeves. I understand all of that. But you guys are talking about that the standards or the goalposts or the expectations have been lowered. Broussard, to me, they have not. The expectations or standards for the Lakers all year long have been, can you make the finals? And then if you're in the finals, see what happens. That's been where they're at. And the point I'm making is I believe they absolutely can if AD stays at this level. I think that the defense will be demonstrably better when LeBron comes back, particularly for the postseason. I think they will have shortened the rotation. And the West, nobody really scares me that much aside from Phoenix. And Phoenix, to me, unfortunately, has the ongoing concern of, is Chris Paul going to be able to play 100 games? That's always been a concern. And so I'm not moving the goalpost. Say, hey, if they make the playoffs, it's a successful season.
But when you say
they
just
can make
be the 7th seed,